Hello everybody and welcome to this edition of Jersey Shore Pondscapes videos. My name is Chris and I'm going to be talking to you today about how to build a waterfall. Alright, this is probably going to get to be a little lengthy of a video, but I promise you there's going to be a lot of information. I'm going to have a lot of pictures up here and I hope it'll give you a lot of ideas and kind of take you along step by step of some things to think about when building a waterfall. Okay. First thing, all right, let's not make a waterfall an afterthought. Okay, if you are building a pond and you want to build a waterfall, have that all part of your plan in that design. Okay, we want to get one piece of liner if possible. Okay, always when possible. You want that one piece of liner to come right down through your pond, right up the back of your pond, right out on the dirt, and you want to build that waterfall right on top of that one piece of liner. All right. Now, if you're using big rocks, or if you just want to be precautionary, it's also a good idea to have an extra piece of liner. Maybe some scraps you cut off from around the edges around the other side of the pond to double up the liner on this side. So have your single piece of liner come right up from your pond, come right up to the top, and then go up on your dirt. And then take an extra piece or two and put on top of that liner just as an extra cushion between the liner and the rock. Okay? Now, there's a lot of different types of waterfalls we can build. Okay, again, part of the plan is to know what you're going to do beforehand, right? What kind of waterfall do you want? Do you want something that's multi-layered, maybe multiple pipes, multiple outlets of water? Do you want something that's just stepped down? Do you want something that's maybe one wall of rock with a big stone, flat stone overhanging where the water just cascades and drops right down? Okay. That's definitely very dramatic. That gives you the most amount of sound, right? With all that water flow just falling down and crashing back into the pond. And what size are we building our waterfall? Always keep in mind the scale of the pond as well, right? So if you're building, this little pond, you might not want to put this big giant waterfall with giant rocks on top of it. It's probably going to be more beneficial to keep everything all to scale. Okay. Some waterfalls can be purchased. Okay, like there's preformed. It's almost like a fiberglass, cement kind of resin mix, preformed waterfall that you can literally just buy, throw in the back of your truck, bring it home and set it next to your pond. And the front of these things usually has a little lip which will overhang or down the front edge of your pond so that the water drips down and goes into the pond and not out off the sides. They work well. I mean, it works. But usually you can't pump a large volume of water down it. And the other thing is, it's not natural. Right? It's just not real. Whatever ponds you're using around the side of your pond, use that same rock to build your waterfall. It's all going to blend in, right? So you don't have, all natural rock around your pond and then this fiberglass waterfall sitting on the side, okay? Just build it all out of the natural rock. And if you're thinking, well, how am I going to do that? Well, that's why I'm here today, okay? So, all right, so think about the size of the waterfall you want to do, and also let's think about the size pump you're going to need to supply this waterfall, okay? If you're doing a small pond and you don't have a really big pump on it, you can't build this big, huge waterfall because you're not going to have any water coming down, all right? So a little rule of thumb just to go by is to have 100 gallons of water per inch of width of your waterfall. Okay? If your waterfall's a foot wide, you need about 1,200 gallons an hour. If it's 3 feet wide, you want about 3,600 gallons an hour. And that's just that's a rule of thumb, just general guide, right? If you want Niagara Falls, make it 4,500, 5,000 gallons, right? If you just want a nice quiet little trickle down the rocks, well, maybe you want to go 700, 800 gallons an hour, okay? So that's up to you to determine, you know, what fits your pond and what you like best. A lot of times when I go meet prospective clients and we're talking about building a new pond, they ask me about, you know, what's the waterfall going to look like? What kind of waterfall can you build? And I basically tell them, you know, I can build about anything you want, okay? Oh, great. Well, can you draw a picture? No. Okay? I really can't. And the reason being is every rock that you use to build your waterfall is different. I'm not using square cement blocks where every block is just right there, okay? Every rock is different size, different shape. And I guess I'm like an artist, right? When you're building these waterfalls and you're setting one rock at a time, all right, it's amazing how rocks all fit together. And it's not something you can plan for and draw out beforehand, all right? Sometimes I'll have a whole pile of rock to use for a waterfall, and I'll see like the weirdest, craziest, stupidest shaped rock you're ever gonna see, and you look at it and you say, what am I gonna do with this thing? And then all of a sudden you're building your waterfall and you're setting all these rocks in, and you know, and all of a sudden there's one spot where it's like, maybe that crazy rock will fit in there. Then you pick that rock up and you set it in there and it's just like a piece in a puzzle. And it's amazing sometimes, okay? So can I draw out a picture and tell you exactly what your pond waterfall is going to look like before I build it? No. But I can give you a good idea of what we're looking to create, right? Again, do we want a straight wall of rock that's nice and high with a big spill, with a big drop? Do we want a multi-level thing? Maybe we're going to do a waterfall over here that has, you know, 2, 3 different spillways, and then we're going to come on the side over here and do another one, just a small one with another spillway over here. We can plan all that. But exactly what it's going to look like and draw it out exactly, it's really kind of hard to do, okay? Again, it's just putting one piece together at a time, like a puzzle, and building it so it looks the most natural and like it's all just fits in, and you know, it ends up being beautiful, okay? So, another thing real quick is I build all my waterfalls with natural stone and cement, okay? I use cement on everything. We'll put a layer of cement down on top of the liner, set a rock on top of it, okay? Just a thin layer of cement. It acts as a little cushion between the actual stone, the rock, and the liner itself, all right? Put a little cement down, you know, we build up rocks, we put cement in all the cracks, put more rocks on top, so all the water doesn't go back behind the rock, it all is forward. And then all the little gaps in between the rock, the boulders, you know, use smaller stone to fill in the gaps and the cement and wipe it all nice and clean. And once that cement starts to set a little bit, you know, as it's starting to set and I'm building further and further into my waterfall, I'll go back down to where I first started, and once that cement is starting to harden and set up a little bit, then I can wipe it nice and clean, okay? Use gloves, all right? Always use gloves with cement work. And, you know, clean up all those little seams of cement and make it all nice. And you know what? That cement on that waterfall is going to look the worst when you first do it, okay? Yes, you're going to see some cement around the seams and stuff, but hopefully not much, right? If you're really good and you take your time, you can put more rock on little smaller stones on top. You can do all kinds of little gravel in there, whatever. But as your water starts running over it, you'll start growing a little algae coating on it. It's going to cover up all the cement. The cement will naturalize. It'll all look normal. Believe me, I don't have people looking at my waterfall saying, oh my gosh, I can see cement in that crack. Don't worry about it, okay? It's all going to blend in and look natural soon. The other option from cement is to use spray foam. Okay, there's these cans of spray foam that people, a lot of landscapers and even pond guys use. And it's easy, right? You just put a rock down, you spray the foam on top, and put another rock on top of it, and you're set. The problem is with that stuff, it doesn't last. Okay, I can't tell you how many times I go to people's houses and their waterfalls are leaking, and right away all I see is all these rocks that are like glued together with this spray foam, and it's all just deteriorating and the water seeping through it and it's coming out all over the place. I don't see it. I don't understand it. I don't know why you'd ever want to use it, to be honest with you, okay? It doesn't last. It leaks. It deteriorates. It dry rots, okay? And it's expensive, okay? A little can of that stuff is like $20. How many cans are you going to use in a waterfall? You're going to spend $400 on spray cans? It's crazy, right? You go out and you buy a bag of Portland cement, 90-pound bag of cement for $10. You get some sand. You get a couple garbage pail of sand. You mix it up, okay? So what I do is I take a 90-pound bag of Portland, I cut it in half, put half a bag of Portland in my wheelbarrow with about 14-15 shovel loads of mason sand. Then I'll take a bag of mortar mix, and I don't know why, but I've just always done this, and I'll put like a shovel of mortar mix in that as well. Mix your water, mix it all up. You've got a half a wheelbarrow, 3/4 of a wheelbarrow of cement here. Go with it, man. Yeah, it takes a little more time to mix it than it does just to spray some foam on top of a rock, right? But it also cost me, $15 to make a wheelbarrow load of cement as opposed to, $20 for a little spray can of the foam. So anyway, that's my rant on that. I use cement, and I've never had a problem using cement on my ponds, in the waterfalls, in riverbeds, stream beds, and even around my rock border, all around the top of the pond, setting cement all on my shelf and setting boulders in that cement all around the pond. I've never had a problem with any kind of water chemistry, any kind of fish dying, or anything like that. All right. If you're building the entire pond out of cement, then that's a different story. You might want to seal it then with like a rubber neoprene coating. But for just using some cement work around the edge of the pond, I've never had any issues with cement hurting anything with the water quality or fish. Okay, onwards. Now, the other thing we got to consider is the size of pipes that we're bringing back to our waterfall, okay? If we have a 4,000 gallon per hour pipe, and we're bringing our pump, and we're bringing our pipe back up to the top of the waterfall, and maybe it's a 2-inch line coming back, but when we get to the top of the waterfall, we reduce it down to 1 inch, okay? Don't reduce it, all right? What you're going to have to remember now is if you have a 4,500 gallon per hour pump through a 2-inch pipe, your water's going to come out in a nice gush, a nice even flow. If you reduce that pipe down to a 1-inch pipe, the water's going to go shooting out of that pipe. And it's kind of hard to put a pipe on top of the waterfall where you want the water to trickle down, run down, when it's jetting out of this pipe, okay? The only time I reduce pipes is if I have a 2-inch pipe coming back from my pump and I'm doing multiple spillways, multiple pipes coming to the top with ball valves on each one where I can regulate. I'll use a 2-inch Y and then 1.5 reducers. And I can run an 1.5 pipe here and an 1.5 pipe here. Something like that works just fine, okay? So if you're taking, a 2-inch pipe, don't reduce it too small, because the water's going to jet out that pipe rather than just flow out of it, okay? So that's just another thing to keep in mind. All right, so now we're building a new pond. We're putting our waterfall on it. We're going to use 1 piece of liner. If it's an old pond that's already existing, okay, we're going to have to buy now a separate piece of liner to build this waterfall with. So what we're going to have to do is, on the side of one side of the pond where you're building this waterfall, we need to remove the rocks off of the pond liner. All right. We want to make sure we have enough liner here that we can lift it up. Okay. So let me just play with some liner here and show you. All right, we have an existing pond, okay? This is our pond liner. It goes down, now let's go this way, down the pond. The liner comes up on the shelf. We have all our rock work here, okay? And you know, this is it, and it's dirt here. But we're gonna build our waterfall here. So we're gonna hope that we have enough liner here on the ground extra that we can lift this up, okay? And as we lift this up, we want to take our new piece of liner that we're going to use for the waterfall and put it on top. We're going to overlap it like this. Okay? We have to make sure that the liner from the waterfall is coming down on top of the other liner, and that it is raised up here. Okay? So the water comes down inside and over. All right? Once we have, you know, our 2 liners overlapped, this way, our 2 liners are overlapped, you know, then we can start doing our rock work and stuff back on here. Now I want to show you another little trick with this. Depending on what we're doing with the dirt, or how we're building this waterfall up behind, it may be a good idea. So I'm just going to flip this piece over, okay? This is the original pond liner. It might be a really good idea to take another piece of liner and stick it behind the original pond liner. Now the reason, and so we have basically 3 liners here. So the reason why I want to do this is because if this pond liner, the original pond liner, comes, you know, a foot high, and we're putting 3 foot of dirt behind this, okay? Even though we're putting another liner on top, which is going to go on top of the dirt can come down inside between the old liner and the new liner. If it gets a heavy rain, and it could be mud washing in here, okay? So I take another liner underneath the back of the old one. So basically where my seam ends, I'm covered. And this will go all the way up the dirt, and then I can put my new liner on top of it. So I have no dirt rushing in the back between the new and the old liner to get into the pond. Got it? Does it make sense? I know I'm kind of flapping liners all over here. But, so that's basically what we're looking at. 1 piece on the dirt, the original pond liner, and then the new liner on top for the waterfall. Okay? Landscape fabrics or something, you know, can be used under here, but keep in mind that the landscape fabric will hold back the dirt, but it will not stop the dirty, muddy water from going through. Okay, so pond liner is the best thing. Again, an extra piece maybe you have, you know, cut off from the side of the pond. So that's the first step in building a pond, a waterfall on an existing pond. Okay. Now, when we are building a waterfall on a new pond as well, there's 2 different ways we can do the liner. Okay, you have the pond liner. We have the original pond liner coming up. Okay, and this pond liner, you know, goes down throughout the whole pond. It comes on up. Now, if we have a flat layer of ground, maybe we're building a wall of rock straight up here with a big spill stone over the top. That's the easiest thing to do, because now we can just build our rock up on top of it. If we want to, take that extra piece of liner and put it down here and double this up first. Then build your rock up on top of that, okay? put your spill stone in, and then on the back, all we really need to do is pull this liner up so that it is above the water level. Whatever the water level of the pond is, okay, make sure that the liner in the back is pulled up higher. We can leave the liner here. It doesn't have to go all the way to the top. If it does, great, all right? But it doesn't have to in this instance, okay? If we're building wall up here and it's straight vertical, any water that gets through those rocks is gonna trickle right down through those rocks and come right back here, right? It's not gonna go and jump outside, all right? So we can build, pull our liner up back behind the rock, maybe back some rock against it, and put your pipes, your plumbing up here, and cover all that up with rock on the back side. Now, if we want to do a multi-level, right, a multi-tiered waterfall, again, anything is possible here. It's really up to your imagination. You can build a multi-level waterfall fairly tight and close to the side of the pond, or we can extend it 20 feet back, okay? Whatever we want to do, right? We can put, but again, we need dirt, right? We need the dirt, we need the elevation. So you can extend, you can come off of the pond here, you can make a shelf, a drop here, you can come back 10 feet. And then do another drop and another drop over here, and then go back off that and another drop. It's endless, okay? We can do whatever we want. Just make sure that we've got this pond liner, original pond liner, as far all the way back as we can. Now, if we have to put two pieces of liner together, say our waterfall is going back and it's really far, we can seam it. But don't seam it, or not even seam it, but overlap it. But don't overlap it by a foot, okay? Bring this pond liner all the way down. Make sure we have a big drop, a big elevation like this, and then bring another one down over the top of that and down, overlap it a couple feet. But make sure we have a big drop so that the water coming here is not going to go back and over the top of this if it's like this. Okay, that we have rocks and cement and whatever here, that the water level is not going to be up here and going over. Make sure this is up nice and high, and our water level is here, okay? Overlap enough, okay, with plenty of space. Now, again, the sky's the limit with this stuff, all right? Keep in mind that as you are building up and back, you're going to use a lot of pond liner, all right? So you might say, okay, here's the edge of my pond. I want my waterfall to go 5 feet back, so I'm gonna buy 5 extra feet of waterfall for the waterfall, right? 5 extra feet of liner. Well, no, because if you're going up and in steps, you're coming up and over and up and over and up and over and up and that up, there's a foot, there's 2 feet, okay? It adds up a lot, and then when you get to the back, you got to come up with it. So make sure you have enough liner. Now, if you are building a waterfall on a new pond, a lot of times what I'll do is, as I'm digging the dirt out of the new pond, I pile it up where I want to put the waterfall. All right, so have a nice big pile of dirt in the back where we want the waterfall. And what we don't use for the waterfall, we can always use to berm around the sides of the pond. Build it step by step by step. So as we move back, we'll put a layer of rock here, okay? Bring the liner up behind it, flip the liner over the front, back it with dirt, pack it all nice and solid. So now we have, from the rock level back, is all nice dirt, okay? Pull the liner back, put another rock and stuff on top of that at this level, all right? flip your liner over that rock, back it with dirt, okay? Pack it all down nice, flip your liner back, put your next rock up on the next level, all right? Bring your liner over, back it with dirt. All right, so we're building dirt and rock step by step. Rock, dirt, back, right? Rock, put dirt in the back. Rock, put dirt in the back, and we're building it up, okay? So there's a lot of different, you know, again, you can do spillways, large flat stones, round stones, mix everything up, make it look natural, right? I mean, ideally you want more square, right? Thick square ones, flat ones, small flat ones, you can put a bunch of them together. Keep in mind, the bigger rocks you're using for the waterfall, the bigger the gaps could be in between them, okay? So as you put a big boulder here and you put a big boulder here, there's probably some pretty big holes in the gaps in between. So use smaller rock all in between those and cement it all in nice and solid so all your water stays out the front and back. Make sure that the backing of the waterfall is pretty solid cement. Now, water's going to get through it. Eventually, somewhere, somehow, some water's going to end up going in the back. But that's why we have the liner, okay? So always make sure we have, you know, liner covered everything. Now your liner's going up from front to back, but we also need it up on the sides of the waterfall as well to contain the water, not only, you know, front to back and down, up and down, but side to side. We have to make sure our liner, right, comes side to side like this so that all that water is inside that liner on the sides and everything. Okay? Again, you know, the sky's the limit with this stuff. You can do just about anything you want to do. It's not cheap to build a waterfall, okay? There's a lot of rock and there's a lot of time and a lot of labor that goes into building the waterfall. Sometimes I put just as much time into a waterfall as I do building all the rock work around the entire pond. You know, so be aware of that. Some of these large waterfalls, I have pictures behind me, well, these waterfalls can be $20,000, $25,000. There's a lot of rock, and you need machines to move them, okay? Rocks are heavy, and there's only so many people you're going to get around a rock and try to carry it. You get 4 or 5 people around one boulder to try to carry it. No, don't do that, man, because if one person, one hand slips off that, you got 10 feet underneath it. And somebody's foot can get crushed if you know, 500-600 pound boulder falls. All right, it's dangerous. I use a machine for my big rocks. Okay, I have a ball cart that I use for moving you know, trees and shrubs. It's a specific type of cart, but that works great for moving boulders as well. I can just flip the boulder onto the cart. And then flip the cart back and wheel it around to where I want to put it and maybe roll the boulder up, or if it's big enough I can pick it up and put it here. Otherwise, you know, I put a layer of cement down on top of the liner first, just a, you know, ½ inch of cement just as a cushion, and then set your boulders down on top of that. Big boulders, I'm either chaining or strapping to a machine, like a small excavator. And you know, I'll like if this is my boulder, right, if this is my big boulder, I'm going to put a strap around this corner, bring it around, wrap it around this corner, bring it up through the top, and my chain will come up, and I can pick it up with the machine like this, spin it around, and set it right down where I want it. It's really easy. So renting an excavator is definitely better than renting like a loader, you know, like a little bobcat loader. Excavator is really nice because, like I said, you can chain up the boulder, you can reach out with that boom arm, right? Pick that boulder right up, swing it right around wherever you want it, bring it in, bring it out, wherever, and just set it down nicely right on top, right where you want to put it. Okay, it gives you some reach, right? Definitely. The thing you have to watch though with this excavator is that if the rock is really big and really heavy, the front of the excavator, there's a blade that you can put down in the ground, and that helps to stabilize you. So while that blade is down in front of you and you pick up a boulder out here, you've got support in front holding you on the machine. Once you pick that boulder up and you spin to the side, you no longer have that support and the machine can tip, okay? So just be careful with that. If you're looking to reach high up on your waterfall with a big rock, make sure your machine is going straight into it and you can put your blade down in front of you, right? You don't want to spin to the side and try to reach, because what's going to happen is you're going to get up near over the top of your waterfall, and as you reach out, your machine's going to go, and your rock is going to go poosh into the top of your waterfall, and you don't want to rip the liner or hit any other rocks and knock them around or whatever, okay? So just be careful with that. Okay, yeah, so waterfalls are really, you know, anything can come of it. Just have a direction of what you're looking to create, whether you're looking to create, you know, a big drop, a dramatic drop, a multi-level thing, maybe a long, like, stream waterfall kind of thing, building it into a hill, or if you have a flat piece of ground, maybe using the dirt out of the pond, the whole of the pond, to build up your waterfall with. Whether you want a trickle or you want Niagara Falls, you know, everybody's different. And just take your time, be creative, you know, and waterfalls are the dramatic focal piece of your pond. So everybody will come and say, oh, the waterfall sounds so beautiful, looks great, blah, 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 right? So definitely take your time with it and enjoy it. So thank you for watching this video. Sorry it got a little long, but there's a lot of stuff to cover here. Please hit the like button if it helped you out. I hope you liked some of these pictures up in the back. Maybe it inspired you a little bit. There's all different kinds of waterfalls and stuff I've been putting up here throughout the video. And you know, hit the subscribe button and you will be notified anytime I put out a new video. I'm going to be doing a ton of stuff, so there's going to be information on every topic you can think of. I've been doing this for over 25 years, so I've got a lot to share with you. All right, so again, thank you for watching. We hope to see you again soon. I'm going to be doing another video on building a stream or a riverbed, which is pretty interesting as well. So definitely two options to put on your pond, either a waterfall or a stream or riverbed. Okay, thank you. We'll see you again soon. Take care.